Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 69, 70, 71, 72 Carryover League. Today, it's the American League Midwest, where teams are going in pairs of teams are going in different directions. White Sox and the Brewers are struggling. Kansas City and the Twins are doing pretty good. We're going to start out right away with the White Sox. They lose from 1984. Harold Baines, Phil Bradley, Barbaro Garbe, George Orta, Perconte, Greg Walker, Richard Dotson, and Jay Tibbs. And these guys are all available in the 69-70. Luis Aparicio, see here? He should be here. Yeah. Aparicio. These are just sorting them now. Carlos May, Tommy John, Dan Osinski. I didn't see him anywhere, did I? No, Dan Osinski, Bob Humphreys, and Wilbur Wood. I don't see Humphreys and Wilbur Wood. And then the 70 guys, Hopkins, Josephine, LaFay, and Melton, Bill Melton. One of the things I want to look at, though, in these guys is this idea of Wilbur Wood, moving him, getting him into the rotation as soon as possible. And I would say absolutely. Absolutely have to do that right now. So that's going to cost a team that's not very good a draft pick to do that. Because what happens is you use a draft pick, you have 12 guys, you use a draft pick, and you still have 12 guys. So you'll have 19 guys while the rest of the league has 20 by the end of the draft. And then you have to hope you can find a free agent to fill your roster spot. So I'm going to just put Wilbur Wood on top of the available players, just as a reminder that you got to do this. I mean, they're so awful, the White Sox. They need this guy to go out there every 4 days and give this team a chance. He's a starter 9. This is one of the best pitchers in Strat of this year and era. And he has a legitimate chance. Maybe we just build a defense around him to win a Cy Young Award. So that's how good the Wood card is. And from that, then you just got to find one more guy in this list. Before, I'm going to take a quick peek again at anybody else, just in case there's a guy here who gets dramatically better. Melton is about the same. Aparicio is worse. Carlos May is about the same. Tommy John's about the same. Okay. Yeah, it's just Wood. Wood is obvious because he went from being just a reliever to a on the rotation starter 9 who's devastating. That is a big deal for the White Sox. So behind him, they still have 8 holes in this roster to fill. So Bart Johnson, we lose Richard Dotson and Jay Tibbs. So Bart Johnson, 293 ERA. He doesn't rotate, but Tommy John does. So he could be your new number 3 starter. You know what? The White Sox have plenty of starting pitching because we saw this back in the 69 box with Billy Wynn, Paul Edmondson, and Joel Horlin. So the White Sox need to make some deals. Hello, Tommy John. You know, maybe you should think about trading Tommy John to the Dodgers or something like that, because you've got a bevy of starting pitching and you have not a lot anywhere else on this team. Walt Williams, this is the best one we've seen thus far. He's gotten progressively better. He finally hits over 300, I'm guessing, up 294. Close though. Got power versus righties. Yeah, this is a good card. I like him on this team. His defense is kind of shaky. They lose mostly left-handed sticks though, which is a struggle. They lose Harold Baines, Orta, Perconte, Walker. But looks like Williams and Wood might be the 2 guys unless something better comes along. Rich McKinney's okay. 271 hitting infielder. Tom Egan, a catcher. We have 2 catchers. Don't need him. Lee Richard, another bad Lee Richard card. He's not very good. Luis Alvarado, he's not very good. Mike Hirschberger, he's okay. Rich Morales is okay. Joel Horlin's just okay. Rich Hinton, no. Okay, this seems pretty straightforward. Definitely Wood and either Johnson or Williams. So that's good news. The White Sox needed to hear something good happen, and Wilbur Wood will be the first pick in the draft. for them. All right, next up is a team we really have a lot of excitement about, the Kansas City Royals, because they're an expansion team who's been exceeding expectations in the first 2 years in the league when they were supposed to be taking their lumps. They ended up getting into the American League Divisional Series both times as an expansion team, and now they're starting to put a decent roster together, so who knows, the sky's the limit for this team. And they're not under the doom and gloom American League West Oakland A's. They're not in the shadow of the Oakland A's anymore. They can blossom in the American League Midwest. So, from this team, they lose from the 80s Bruce Bochy, George Brett, Concepcion, Ken Phelps, Frank White, Charlie Leibrandt, Frank DePino, and Dan Quisenberry. I know some of those names sound great, like George Brett, but Brett had kind of an off year. That's not a lot of guys to lose, frankly. And they have on this team Pat Kelly and Ed Kirkpatrick. There's Kelly, there's Kirkpatrick. They have Lou Piniella. They have Wally Bunker. I don't see him here, must be retired now. Rooker and Drabowski. Rooker should be here. There's Rooker, Drabowski. And from 70, Oliver and Otis. Bob Oliver, Amos Otis, Bob Johnson, and Ron Swoboda. And they have Amos Otis. This card is, he's a 1-4 arm. You might be tempted to renew him and get him to this card. I don't think it's substantially better than the 70 card, though. I mean, it is better. It's unquestionably a better card. But is it worth, particularly for a guy, we know he's going to play the entire decade for the Royals. There's no big hurry on improving him when you're putting together a potential playoff team. And, you know, Kelly, Kirkpatrick, Piniella, Rooker, Drabowski. Yeah, none of the other guys really are significantly better. So these guys are your farm system. Ken Wright, starter 5, and not that good against lefties. Al Fitzmaurice, not good enough. We know he has a better year. Paul Shaw, on-base machine, the third baseman that precedes Brett. This could be the card right here. Look at all the walks. Wow, that's a great card. 274, about 103 walks. Oh, this card will drive people nuts. Yeah, I like this card. I think it could be him so far. And here's Rojas. He hits 300 one of these years. Is this the year he hits 300? That's the year. So it could be Rojas and Shaw are the two guys. But moving along, I mean, that would be great. That would be a haul right there. A starting third baseman and a starting second baseman, boom, for the next 4 years until Brett comes along. But you also have Jim York. Ready gets righties out. He's good. Abernethy. Cubs have the rights to him. The Cubs will probably take Abernethy. Very consistent pitcher, though. His ERA has been under 3 every year. It wouldn't surprise me if the Cubs take Abernethy to block the Royals from getting him. Jerry May, decent catcher. Could replace Bochy. Joe Keogh, corner outfielder, is okay. Bobby Canoop, second baseman who could field pretty good against lefties. Dennis Papke, Chuck Harrison, Bobby Floyd, Bruce Delcan. It seems pretty straightforward here. It's got to be Shaw and Rojas. And Ken Wright is okay. Yeah, then if it's Mars, yeah, definitely. I'm going to put Rojas number 1. A 300 hitting second baseman. I know he doesn't hit a lot of homers or anything, but he's a 300 hitting second baseman who's a 2. So you got to get him into the league, a full-time second baseman. And this is probably going to be the best Paul Shaw card. So there you see how much smoother it went for the Royals versus the White Sox. Next up is the Brewers. Milwaukee is going to get some trade assets from the Dodgers for Don Sutton. They lose Deion James, Ben Oglivie, Tim Raines, Tim Wallach, Robin Yount, Bob McClure and Bob Alchinko. They bring back Wayne Comer, if I can find him. You know, a lot of the guys that they're bringing back, I don't even see their cards anymore. That's from that 69 Seattle Pilots team, which means they're probably gone. Wayne Comer, Mike Hegan's still around, yeah. Don Mincher, he's still around. Ray Bender, he's gone. Gellner and O'Donohue, don't see either of those guys. Tommy Harper, there's Harper. Phil Roof, Ted Savage, and of course Ken Sanders. And there's Sutton's card. They have the rights to Sutton. As we turn this all over. Oops. Let's see. Sure, no, shuffle this up wrong. Okay. So they have the rights to Sutton, though they'll probably trade it away. And they actually have a deep system of, now we're talking about Milwaukee guys instead of Seattle Pilot guys. So we have Johnny Briggs, that's a good player right there. He could replace like Ogilvy. Dave May, that's a good player, except he's redundant. Briggs and May are pretty much doing the same thing. May does it with defense. Marty Patton, he has a good 70 card as well. So Patton needs to pitch for the Brewers to replace Sutton at the top of the rotation. There's a question, which year of Marty Patton do you want to do it? Obviously, if this box is better than the 70 box, which I expect it to be, then go with 70 Patton. Not to mention all those homers against lefties. You don't want to see that. Ron Theobald. There's a decent player. Middle infielder can play every position. That's what you need. 276. Ellie Rodriguez on base is not quite where he has some pretty exciting on base percentage years in his career, and this is not one of those. Bobby Heiss is okay. Bill Voss, we've seen this card a few times. This is probably the best Bill Voss, which is not that great. Rick Auerbach, utility player who basically had 2 amazing years in his career. Not that one. Paul Ratliff, not quite good enough against righties. Frank Tepedino, no thanks. A very young Jim Slayton, not quite ready for prime time. Oh, 377, that's not too bad. Except they're going to have Patton, Parsons, Braybender. They're going to need a lefty in the starting rotation. Jim Hannon, no. Floyd Weaver, no. And there you go. Well, depending on what they get in the Don Sutton trade, they have guys they can take. They definitely have guys. So at least they're not short players. And they'll be exploring all the options. Finally, the Minnesota Twins, who want to push their chips into the table and go for the World Series with an aging team. They lose Dave Anderson, Chris Bando, Dan Gladden, Ken Urbick, Kirby Puckett, Viola Morris, and Mike Stanton. And from the 69 box, they have Killebrew, Tony Oliva, Rich Reese, Cesar Tovar. There's Reese, there's Tovar. Jim Cott and Ron Peranowski. In the 70 box, it's Cardenet and Carew, and Jim Perry and Stan Williams. So they're 10 for 10. And look at that, it's almost identical Killebrew card to the one we just had in the league. Oliva's fantastic, but he was already fantastic. It's good to know that he'll be fantastic for, so 69 Oliva and 71 is better, but I wouldn't worry about it, you know. Reese gets worse, so this guy might be the guy you trade. Get rid of Rich Reese to get Burt Blyleven on the team. Tovar's still great, that's good to see. Cott is still good, he's another guy you can put in a deal. Peranowski, no, he's done. Cardenet, actually, it's better here. If you were desperate, you could improve Cardenet. Carew, actually, that's an ordinary year, 307, so no to that. And these are in your system. So do any of these teams help you win a World Series is the question. So we lose in the outfield Dan Gladden and Kirby Puckett. We lose a couple center fielders. Jim Holt is a center fielder, and he is okay with the stick, great with the glove. 259, but the question is he going to make you win a World Series? I mean, he would bat ninth on this team if they're as good as they want to be. Steve Bry, very ordinary. Rich Rennick, very ordinary. Ray Corbin, very ordinary. Luber. Jim Strickland. Alright, he gets lefties out. He's an interesting player. Oh, a lefty, I'm sorry. He's a lefty. Gets lefties out. Well, this is interesting. They have Jim Cott, and they had Jim Cott and Frank Viola, 2 lefties in the rotation, 1 in the bullpen. They might want to go with Strickland and Peronowski in the bullpen and go with 3 right-handed starters. That would create the space for Jim Perry and Burt Blyleven and 1 more right-handed pitcher, which is much easier to find righties and lefties. Pete Ham. So the question they have to determine first and foremost, they have to make the deal right away with Portland about Blyleven, and then zone in on which Burt Blyleven are they going to get on this team, and then they have to decide which guys they can let go to get Blyleven. Will it be Rich Reese, who is a redundant player? They don't really need him. They don't really need Jim Cott either. So those are the 2 guys that I think they would pony up to Portland for Blyleven. So here is the American Midwest. 1 more division to go in the American League in the carryover prep. Hope you're enjoying these prep videos. The cards are getting better, as you can tell. Thanks for checking out this and all the videos. We'll see you again next time.